it's time for everybody's favorite segment, and it
Oh,
is called
yes.
Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
What we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, we have quite a bit here. Dave Meltzer gets a shout out, literally, on Dynamite on Fright Night. And people were saying, Jericho's been a 30-year Meltzer stooge. And the Mole insinuated that Jericho did this because LaGreca and Bully were on NXT. So, yeah, let's just play this little clip here.
The Wrestling Observer newsletter said would be remembered for a long, long time. A ladder match that Dave Meltzer himself gave 4 stars to. The Wrestling Observer.
Dave Meltzer gave 4 stars to it. Apparently, that's because LaGreca was on the NXT. So the latest updates on what would happen if AEW makes an offer to an indie talent who signed to one of the new WWE independent development contracts. This is via Brian Alvarez. He goes, if you're under this deal, it's essentially if you get an offer from AEW and you're under one of these deals, you do have to tell WWE first, and they have the right to say, okay, well, we want to sign you to a deal and send you to NXT, or they can say, go for it, take the offer, we're not interested. It's like, yeah, so the same thing
Right.
as it already is, Jesus
Give me $14.99.
Yeah, nuts. So Alvarez doing his thing. Meltzer on Rhea Ripley, and we talked about this earlier. He goes, Rhea Ripley has, actually a fractured orbital bone. So, the injury, WWE announced is, Brian, pretty much legit. Pretty much legit, or is it legit? Is it a real fractured orbital and it's legit, or is it pretty much legit? And you don't know, and he goes, it happened last week. She is going to be out for a while. And I'm not saying maybe she herself up, but dude, a fractured orbital, I don't want to pull it up on YouTube because they don't like that sort of right? Unless you're literally WWE or UFC, then you can get away with violence, but no other channel can, you know what I mean? So I would love to show you guys, just type into your Google machines, fractured orbital UFC, and just look at that. She was in pictures. I don't know if I bookmarked it in here, but I called Dave out for it, and I was like, bro, she's in pictures with Zarya and Jordan Grace backstage. She's looking right at the camera. Dave's trying to say they're hiding her face. No, bro, she's looking right at the camera, and her eye would be swollen shut. Fractured orbitals don't heal up that quick. So when did it happen? On Raw, and then on NXT, her face isn't swollen shut, and she's taking pictures and smiling ear to ear. I don't really think that that's how it goes down, man. I've seen enough MMA. This is Heel Uzi saying, last time AEW drew at 800K was April 10, 2024. Last time they drew 750 was June 27. Last time they drew 700 was September 25th. So Meltzer goes, rating was 628K. Considering the World Series number at more than 18 million, I'd consider this very good. They beat AEW with 700K, and he's like, oh yeah, the 0.2 makes a difference. Like he was doing Steiner math. We covered it last time. He's like, the 0.2 in the key demo is more than 7 million households or whatever he's spouting. And then now, instead of going, NXT did have more viewers or whatever, he's going against the World Series. Like NXT went up against NBA opening night. He didn't say, man, we chronicle this. He's a con artist. I want people to get their $14.99s back. More Dave Cope. He goes, negotiations are close for an ROH TV deal. Hopefully, to add to that, we touched on it earlier. The idea behind, they always say this, the idea behind this is this. It's like, yeah, we know. That's why it's happening, So Dave goes, the idea behind Chris Jericho's ROH World Championship reign is that having him as face of the brand will mean more during negotiations. They literally said that last time he was the Ring of Honor champion, the Ocho. Now he's the Nueva or whatever, Nuevo. And he's I don't know, the face of ROH, and they're going to try and negotiate a deal. We heard this before. If they get a TV deal, sweet. Who knows? Dave, though, just giving out spoilers. We're going to get into that because he's spoiling all of AEW here. Meltzer says that WWE has strongly talked about having John Cena challenge for one of the world titles at Mania 41. So I could say, yeah, they strongly talked about Austin versus Undertaker at Mania 41, and then it doesn't have to happen, and there's no accountability. So It's just every mark on line's like, oh, I want to see title go for a belt. So then they go, oh, they strongly consider it. Now, like, yeah, Cena versus Gunther. Gunther beats him. I could see that. But they're strongly talking about lots of Dave, and it's just you could just say that about anything. They're strongly talking about changing the logo. Are they? I don't know. I just said that. People
the
backstage.
TV deal is imminent. The TV deal was imminent for freaking AEW for 3 years. So I guess we'll find out that ROH is signed to a TV deal in 2027.
People backstage say this. Who said that? My sources. Many say this. Who's many? Is that like a guy? Is that like a new gimmick? Dave Meltzer, you putz?
No, it was Manny. Manny said that.
Oh, right. He meant Manny. Sorry.
Yeah, because he can't spell. No, that's it.
What did Enzo say, Manny? What is that, like Callisto? When Simon Gotch buried him? I don't know if you guys ever seen that shoot. Anyways, deep cut. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez was planned for Crown Jewel before Ripley's injury, with the 4-way women's tag championship match seemingly being the replacement. Meltzer goes, the show was changed due to an injury to Rhea Ripley. Ripley suffered a fractured right orbital bone that will put her out of action and ended up delaying the planned singles match with Rodriguez, which was confirmed to have been on this show. The injury happened on the 10/21 Raw show, believed to be from a headbutt spot, but was kept quiet until they did a phantom angle on NXT as a cover for it. When Ripley was on NXT before the phantom angle backstage putting over Zarya, she stood sideways where you could only see half of her face, but then she's in a picture where you can see her whole face smiling. Right? And you saw Liv Morgan and Rodriguez leaving the scene. Well, we don't know. So then why are you talking about it, news? You're the news, right? Oh, well, they don't know everything about a murder before they report on it. Yeah, I get that, dude. But listen, it's like, we don't know for sure, but she's for sure. But you up here, you go, she suffered a fractured right orbital. But then a whole 2 paragraphs later, you go, we don't know. But it would appear this happened as a replacement. They could be getting worked by fake injuries. It wouldn't be the first time. Fightful was worked and with a fake injury. Recently, we covered that on the show. Omega is in talks about his comeback as if it's a thing rather than a possibility, so it should be relatively soon. Yeah, Dave, we all know that now because he's training in Japan and posted pictures of him in the ring. And so, like, what news are you breaking? And then Meltzer goes, the idea all along. He always says that, the idea. There's an idea behind this, the idea all along. Well, why didn't you tell me a year ago then if it was all along, or however long ago? All along, but you're just telling me now. Has been to set up a 5th match with Okada. Why? And why is it a 5th? It's the first in AEW. New Japan history isn't AEW history, and a bunch of people don't even know they wrestled 3-4 times, man. Although that is quite the standard those two have to live up, so don't do it. Don't rehash the old bullshit. Or if you do it on Dynamite and give it away, because it won't be as good. And don't try and redo what you did and have a 60-minute whatever. Have some story be told in it that advances whatever all these goofballs are doing as far as the Bucks and all that, right? Speaking of the Bucks, Meltzer again with another idea behind something. Dave's got a lot of behind ideas. So he goes, the idea behind the Young Bucks AEW hiatus is that they don't want. It's so funny how he's always trying to explain the idea of what this is. Bro, we know. We get it, dog. Like Jesus. They don't want to get involved with the BCC, but they will eventually come back to save AEW. Oh. So Meltzer just stooges their whole storyline. The only story they have, he stooges it while simultaneously confirming the mole.
You what?
Yep.
Dave!
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Tony, stop letting this guy around you.
You mark.
So all the marks who already read it, you just spoiled it all. The crowd that watches AEW is the crowd that likes to read the script for Avengers before it comes out, but it leaked on Reddit. Okay? What are you doing? So Meltzer comes here and goes, the whole idea's been that the Bucks are gone and they don't want to get involved with the BCC right now, but they're going to come back and save all of AEW nonsensically, which confirms what the mole said was going to happen, and it's a literal mole that's out there that all you know about. I know all you sheets know about it, by the way. BT dubs. I know you all do. I know you all heard our... And this isn't about... This is about, like, Dave wants AEW to succeed, and we talk about it all the time. He talks about wrestlers, and he backhand compliments them all the time, while he thinks he's putting something else over his idea, and he buries them. Now, me, I bury, and I outright say I'm burying it. Dave does it, and he doesn't even mean to because he's so dumb. And he literally just told you all. He just told you all what their storyline, like, so confirming the mole, the Bucks are leaving and are going to come back and be the ones to save AEW from the Yahtzee clan.
With
Why
Kenny,
would you
who they
say
just did this other stuff too. So forget about them turning on Kenny and doing the...
Bro, why would you say that? Like, why would you just ruin it for anyone who actually cared anymore? And they think this is helping because Dave, and I'm telling you the psychology behind it. Dave thinks in his mind, he's like, oh, this is such a great idea, Tony Khan. And in his mind, he's thinking, if we get this out there, then it'll drum up excitement and people will know. Now they already know, and they're like, this is dumb. Why would I watch? So you get up already, dude. This is what happens when he stooged the edge. He was so giddy. He couldn't wait to talk about, oh, Danielson's coming. He just... Danielson's coming. It's just happening. He's so giddy to talk about it, and all it does is ruin it for AEW. Tony's too oblivious to know to keep this weirdo away from their company, man.
And Dave has to put it out because it's the only thing he's going to be right about. It's the one story that he's got that actually is correct, the stuff with AEW. But when he says it, it blows their story.
Super Duper Gamer says AEW is literally copying and pasting old WWE storylines. Exactly. And they're copying and pasting everything. Like, look at when you're watching the show, they're doing all these quick cuts. And you're just like, bro, what is Kevin Dunn working here? The power's going out, and then the guy doesn't debut. And then the power goes out again, and then they debut. What's going on here? According to the Observer newsletter, Chris Jericho asked Jushin Thunder Liger to do one last match on the Jericho Cruise, but Liger turned him down, saying he was too old. Yeah, and who wants their last match to be on the Jericho Cruise? Shout out Liger for having some sensibility. My word.
Good for him.
Meltzer again. So check this out. Meltzer comes out and says, The Rock is not penciled in for Mania. He did this last year. And The Rock goes, that's right. Calls out the dirt sheets. This year again, Meltzer's going, actually, The Rock is not committed to doing WWE WrestleMania. He said this a couple weeks ago. We covered it on the show. The Rock responded to someone on Instagram and was like, don't listen to this. So Dave already got owned. The Rock already shut this down. All of a sudden, November 1st, guys, okay, a day ago. And he says again, he doubles down and go, The Rock is not committed to doing the main event of WrestleMania 41. And what Dave's doing here is playing with words because he's a sicko. And what he's doing is now he's going to say, I was right all along, because if The Rock isn't in the main event, he can be like, well, I said he's not committed to the main event. I'm telling you, because now he's stuffing that in. Before he was like, not 41. And no one even expects The Rock to be in the main event. He could main event night 1 or 2, but he doesn't even need to be realistically. WWE, man, like that People's title could be one of the earliest matches on the card for all we know. Who knows? Obviously, you want to save The Rock for last. I'm not an idiot, but I'm just saying if the card's stacked enough or they have something in their back pocket, you never know. With The Rock could be wrestling on both nights for all we know. We don't know. So for Dave to just boldly say the things that no, man is willing to say and then claim it's news is hilarious. And The Rock already shut that down. He's going to be there. The Rock already said.
Shut up, bitch.
So
Just a stupid thing for Dave to say.
I know. And the chat saying like, so the Bucks and Omega 3 white guys will beat the Neo Moxley group. Yes, that's what the mole said too. And now Dave just confirms it. So either he's reading the mole, or he's listening to PWT, or he's just spoiling all theirs because he texts Tony Khan, and that's the most likely thing. You know what I mean?
I think it's a combo of all of them.
Yeah.
He's doing it all. He's reading the mole. He's listening to Tony. He's definitely listening to this show. Like, that's for sure.
Meltzer said what here? Doing the Lord's work.
30-year
Meltzer stooge Chris Jericho glazing Dave over his star ratings on national TV. Bubba Ray Dudley plugging Busted Open radio on national TV. Busted Open in bed with WWE. There's no doubt about it. So here is literally a tale of two Dave/Brians. These are on the same day. So on the same day, the same show, they say they do not keep the same energy in two different segments. Let's check this out. Shout out Meltzer.
And then we had a Learning Tree promo where Jericho noted that you gave his match 4 stars.
Oh, the match Mark Briscoe last week.
The Ring of Honor title.
Oh my God, Dave, that's always mention me.
Match. And he said he's now a 2-time champion. And then we had a Learning Tree promo.
I want to hear that again. What did Dave say?
Jericho noted that you gave his match 4 stars.
Oh, the match Mark Briscoe last week.
The Ring of Honor.
Oh, the match with Mark Briscoe last week. Well, you don't remember? Like a 4-star match is one I remember. Oh yeah, just that. Oh yeah, just that ladder match last week. No, dude, bring up Punk Drew right now. I can't stop gushing over it. Like, no, dude,
right?
He's a kooky bitch right here.
Honor title match. And he said he's now a 2-time champion, just like Jay Briscoe. He's also a 9-time champion. Couldn't have done this without the Redwood and the Bad Apple.
He's the new Ave.
He's going to take Ring of Honor to the biggest stage.
He's the new Ave. Mahones.
I was just going to say that. God damn it.
Patrick Mahones is the new Ave. Oh, my God.
Success it's ever seen. And he vowed to take us to places and heights we had never been before.
Yeah, he also, didn't he say something about, like, he's going to prove that, or he said that, like, all the people who think he's not good only prove how ignorant they are? Something like that.
And I think Jericho's great. Oh, they're so ignorant. Everyone's ignorant but me. All the millions of people are ignorant, but I'm not.
Yeah, well, this was not exactly what he said. It was, they proved how ignorant they are about television.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure Jericho's right about that when he's the one who said Dynamite would be beating Raw, and they're not, and the ratings are regressing. Yeah, I'm sure Jericho is real. Yeah, they're the ignorant ones. Holy. It's just a circle jerk of buddies here, man.
We had Jack Perry and Dan Garcia.
Holy, man. And then let's listen on the very same show what they had to say about Bubba and LaGreca. Let's listen to this, man. I can't wait.
Trick came out for a victory promo, and he wants to talk to the only reason he wasn't in the hospital, Bubba Ray Dudley. So Bubba comes out and says...
They just sound disappointed. Oh, he gave you a 4-star match. Yeah, oh, yeah. And then this, Bubba Ray Dudley. It's like, dude, Bubba clears 80% of the AEW roster. Kenny said he wouldn't hire 80% of them. I'll say, yeah, Bubba still clears 80% of y'all, at least promo-wise.
And I bet Busted Open gets 80% more than Dave.
Yeah.
You do the right thing. Wasn't really even about you. It was about that Ridge Hall. I don't like that guy. And he says... he actually plugged Busted Open like 4 times on the show.
Over and over and over.
Over and over and over again.
Well, they're in bed with them. There's no doubt about it.
They're in bed with them. It's no doubt about it. Are you kidding me? When Mark Henry, who worked for AEW, was on Busted Open, and they tried to get Tony Khan on, but he'd refused to go on because he's mad about simple criticism.
Exactly.
Is that what you mean? They're in bed with them? When Jericho was just on there talking about we made everyone look stupid, and that's in the bed with them.
Didn't Dave just do a sit down with Tony?
He's a coat machine.
Yeah.
Dave LaGreca, Busted Open Radio. Yeah, I mean, that's the deal.
But Jericho's not in bed with you, shouting you out, talking about the 4 stars. Literally, this is the same episode. This isn't like, oh, here's what he said last year. This was the same day, 20 minutes apart. Is what he.
My advice to you is have eyes in the back of your head. And Trick says, I want
crazy.
Just the tone of voice, like that. Just you can hear them. And like,
That is
LaGreca
nuts.
had a sit down with Tony like less than a month ago, where they had him on for. They had Tony on Busted Open for a sit down face to face interview in the Busted Open studio, like what 6 weeks ago or less.
So again, 2
Meltzer,
flutes here. A
Meltzer.
tale of 2 flutes. Meltzer goes. NXT did 588K, 0.14 last night against the World Series and the Kamala Harris speech. Lowest since going to CW. Instead of saying, hey, it went against the World Series and the Kamala Harris speech, still did a really good number, all things considered. He goes, rating was 628K, 0.19. Considering the World Series number at more than 18 million, I'd consider this very good. Considering this, I'd consider it very good. He's such a bad writer. It offends me. Oh, he's such a bitch. I'm going to leave that there too. Meltzer calling other people stupid. -5 stars. So Meltzer says, responds to this guy, Beast Marston, says, I know it pains you that your show is consistently dropping in viewership, but cry me a river. It will never reach 700K. And then Meltzer goes, my show. Imagine the level of stupidity this entails. It is your show, Dave. You fast forward through Raw and you admit it. You hang out with and text and love the Bucks. And okay? So it is your show. It's your favorite show. We know.
Yeah, Dave could be, but he could be a top NFL reporter. I'd be a top NFL reporter.
Jericho and Meltzer, the modern day Briscoe Patterson. Yeah. So Dave likes to do this too. So we talked about his ideas behind ideas. There's all these ideas behind things. Meltzer goes, he always likes to say this too, many, and as we joked, Manny. So maybe he's talking about Manny in WWE, but yeah, many. He goes, many in WWE respected Samantha Irvin's decision to leave the company, but were not happy about her social media posts since leaving. So it's like, what does that mean? A bunch of people were happy for her, but they didn't like her post. You could just guess that. Who's many? Say Rey Mysterio is happy for her, but didn't like her post. Like, name people. It's nuts, man. I could just say this. Many people think Dave's dumb. Oh, many people. I think many people would say I'm not dumb. That's what he would do. Because you can't do that. You can't just say,
well, my
many.
sources tell me. Yeah.
Oh, there's many people. It's clown shoes, man. So we move along here. Here's our last one. Meltzer just stooging more of the story. He goes, there is no set timetable. So he literally tells you there's no set timetable. Then he tells you the timetable. He goes, there's no set timetable for a Young Bucks return. Past it'll be for a while. Past it'll be for a while. And they aren't scheduled for the Full Gear show. It'll be no longer than January, since they are confirmed for the joint AEW New Japan show at the Tokyo Dome.
Oh, God.
So he goes, there's no set timetable other than it'll be longer than a while, but it won't be longer than January, which is just 2 months away.
You what?
So the timetable would be 2 months.
Liar! Liar! Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
I mean,
Dummy, yeah.
You couldn't be dumber of a, you know what I mean? There's
just
no set timetable. Oh, no, but I mean, what if they go away and come back in 2 weeks? Then that's not really taking a hiatus. That's just doing what they've always done since the beginning of AEW, where they aren't on every show. So they're gone till the new year. Dave, it's so dumb. It's so stupid how he plays these things. He thinks he's being cute and coy, and he's so stupid and lacks self-awareness. He doesn't understand. He goes, there's no set timetable. It'll be no longer than January. So there's a 2-month timetable in which they can return from their hiatus, Dave. You guys know what I mean? And because of that, because of moments like that, I get to do this. And that was another absolutely phenomenal Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week.